All right, so Made in Chafford podcast episode 78. I got it right this time. Didn't get it right last week, so I had to get back on. But episode 78. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Retweet, you know what to do. All right, so 78. I'm gonna let the people introduce themselves first. I've got to introduce the guest. This is family. Went to school together. So glad we've managed to get her on. Alia, tell the people about yourself.
Hi, I'm Alia Loren. I'm a DJ. I've done radio presenting and stuff as well, and I can say like content creator. I work with brands and stuff as well. So yeah, all round kind of mix of stuff.
All right, Eman.
Listen, people, what's happening? Shout outs to all my dons in Mumbai. Shout outs to all my G's in New Delhi and that. Feel me?
Oh yeah, you know.
Yeah, man. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, big up yourself.
Shouts, yeah,
India,
of course,
we
man.
see.
Shout outs to the new listeners. This Eman, you know, of course, it's episode 78. Know what I mean?
Fact. Yeah, India, we see you, man. We see them charts.
Yeah.
For sure. Colson Newsy in the building. Don Collier. Is what it is. When it isn't, we here. Let's do this.
And I am to them. So yes, let's get into it. Episode 78. All right, so the way we're going to start is, Alia, we just want to get a bit of a, I don't want to say understanding, but we just want to talk about you a bit more, you know, and your career DJing, how did you get into it, all of that sort of stuff, and just give us some insight into who you are.
Okay, so I started doing radio presenting. God, when was it? It was like 20. Oh, can I even pinpoint a time on it? Was it 2014, 2013? I can't remember the exact, a long time ago, basically. And I met my friend Rebecca Judd, who is now on Beats One. So she's interviewing everyone you can think of now.
Yeah, shout out to Rebecca.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know who she is. She's brilliant. And she was doing radio hosting at the time. So I was like speaking to her, I thought, oh, cool, let me try and do radio hosting. Let me get into it. So I don't know if you've heard of Represent. That's quite a big station. It was based in Peckham. Yeah, it's a really, really good station for the youth. So they was doing like training sessions. There was an ad for it saying, if you want to get into radio and stuff like that, we're doing training. So I thought, cool, let me apply whilst I was in uni. And I hated uni at the time. Like, it just wasn't like, I studied law for like a month and then I switched to English and I just thought, this just isn't for me. So I started doing the training and I was like religious, like relentless with it. Like I went to all the training sessions, like I went ham with everything. And obviously the radio station recognized that quite a lot. So then within like a month, like they asked me to start covering shows on the station while other people were still training, which was insane. So I started doing some covering shows at Rep. And I think a month after that, they asked me to have my own like show. I think it was like midday. It was like playing mainstream stuff, but then I got to like implement some things that I wanted to play. So I started playing some grime stuff.
Got you.
And then I went to LA, stayed there for like a month or something. But whilst I was in LA, I got shouted by Gavin, who is at Radar. I don't know if you heard of Radar Radio before they all like happened and stuff. So yeah, they shouted me to have my complete own grime show just for me. And I was like, oh God, Owen and Orange, should I leave Rep? Because I've been with them like for a short time, but they really helped me out. And then I ended up going to Radar because obviously it was such a big opportunity. And then I was on Radar for a couple of years, which was like sick whilst it was sick, basically. Even though all the stuff that happened, I'm grateful for the opportunity, but all the stuff that happened after, yeah, obviously I can't agree with that whatsoever. But yeah, I did that. And then Gavin was he's an amazing mentor. He told me, like, if you're doing radio and stuff, you need to be doing DJing as well. It's going to open loads of doors and opportunities for you. So because of him, I started going into practice practicing with other DJs that were on the station that really helped me out a lot. And yeah, and then slowly, like, my name started picking up a bit more, especially like obviously doing the grime show and stuff like that. And then slowly brands and stuff. So I've done stuff like Urban Outfitters and other brands. They've shouted me to like play at their stores and stuff like that. So slowly, like, my name's picked up. And yeah, it just blossomed from there.
No, we love to see the progression. How hard is DJing? Like, really and truly, because there's definitely an art to it. You know what I mean? Like playing the right song at the right time, and you know, a good
1,000%.
DJ. Like I always know a good DJ when no one has to go up to them to ask, can you play this? I mean, sometimes it might still happen, but
that's not me.
What's
You know what? That's so techie. It's so techie with that because each DJ has their own style and they like to play their own things. So with me, I've had stages where I've like mixed grime or like I've done like, because I mainly do like rap and I play everything. Like I play tribal stuff, like techno.
Yeah.
If I feel like it mixes and beats well with it, then obviously I can do it. But obviously it's so stressful because you go into the dance and you have to play things, or you have to read the crowd to see what they like.
Yeah.
1 minute they're gonna like one thing, another club might like something completely different. Do you know what I mean? And like even I played in France once, they like all the techier kind of sounds. And then when I played at Wireless, like some of the stuff you could tell they weren't really feeling it, or they was feeling it. So you really, it's quite hard to obviously read the crowd.
It's tough, yeah.
It is. And obviously, as like time's gone on, like we had like the big hype with grime, and then obviously we're switching over to drill and stuff now. So like times are changing with what people are like preferring and stuff like that all the time. You have to keep up with it. But yeah, like DJing, it's like, it's different because people use Serato, so you have to watch the screen and match the beats, or you can use Record Box and that like brings up the tempos for you, and you just press play and like mix it in and stuff. But then you've got some people who are like doing the beat matching by ear, so they're listening and changing the tempo and stuff, which is obviously like you have to be skilled to do it. That's DJing for me. Like that's
super human.
100%. It is hard. But the people that do it, and like, let's say you probably won't know who these people are, like Grime Mixer and General Courts, they're like doing grime and stuff like that. Plus they play like loads of melodic stuff anyway. If you watch them play, like they beat match to the T, and the chopping and the technicality of things. Like I feel like there's two types of DJs. You've got the technicality ones that are like the DJs, like they're the ones that are like, you know, but then when you go out to the dance or the rave, if you go out to the rave or whatever, or the event, you're probably like looking out for just like 6 tunes to be played. Do you know what I mean? And just mixing it together. So there's like different ranges to it. So it's quite diverse, if you want to say.
Yeah, no, that's insane to me, because that is literally, I think it is a case of how good can you read the room, and it must be at times really tough. Have you been in situations where you express that situation at Wireless where it's like, what do I do here, sort of thing, especially because something like Wireless is such a diverse amount of people?
Yeah, so with the Wireless one, I was doing it because I was on Foundation FM for a little bit, and they was doing the VIP area. So obviously if you want to go get your drinks and stuff like that, but I didn't realize how obviously busy it was going to be, but it's Wireless anyway. So it wasn't like main stage or anything like that, but I was playing stuff and people were asking like, oh, have you got Drake? Have you got this? Have you got that? But like, I was playing garagey stuff. I was playing a mix of it because you can't. The crowd is so diverse. You don't know like what you're expecting to play and stuff like that. So that instance for me, I kind of had to take a step back from DJing, which I have done for a little while, and kind of analyze what I want to do. But obviously with COVID and stuff that's happened, I wanted to go practice room and practice mixing and stuff, and it's just not really possible right now. So hopefully when this is all done, I can actually go, because that's one thing I've wanted to do throughout this whole time, is just literally try and perfect my craft and be like, yo, I'm watching Alia Loren and she's sick like all round. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, that is the next step, I guess, just trying to perfect it. For you, what does perfection look like in terms of your ability to DJ?
Ooh, perfection to me, I feel like it's so weird because when I'm seeing DJs now, like I could watch a set and people might not pay attention to how the music's being played. If I hear something completely out, if I'm with someone, I'm like, oh my God, that tune's out. Can you hear it's out? And they're like, no, I can't notice it, but I can hear it. So like perfection to me is kind of stuff like that, which I haven't even completely mastered yet. I'm not even saying like, oh, I'm perfect. It's not even that. Like I'm nowhere. I need a lot of work to do compared to a lot of people that I know that are like unreal. But like, even music selections. I've been going on TikTok lately and seeing some other DJs like from all over the world. Some of the beats that they're putting together that you would never expect is like unbelievable. And you just turn around and think like, oh my God, like that's just such a unique mix to put together. Like perfection is like knowing the beats and hearing 2 songs and being like, that's gonna like flow together plus the beat match. And I think that to me is like perfection.
You hear the craziest matches on TikTok. I heard
oh my God.
I heard like 50 Cent in the club and some random song. I was like, how have you made that match in your head? Like,
no, I mean that's perfection. That's literally someone and be like, raw, I could never think those 2 things would go together. Like it's amazing. I think I saw Rihanna and something else. I can't remember, but I had to watch it like 50 times. I was like, oh my God, this is literally insane. This is sick.
There was one that I lost my mind. I can't. It was Hot in Here, and she mixed it in with. I can't remember what she mixed it in with, but literally the way when she did it, and it was perfect.
Jotty?
So say that again.
Jotty, was it a boiler room?
It was a boiler room. Yes.
Everyone was playing, I think.
Yeah,
and then everyone was hyping after. I think it's Jotty.
Life changing. That beat switch up was insane. And it's my thing about it, what I love most is when you don't see it coming and they put something together and you've been like, how have you done that? Or how did your brain even think to put those two songs together? But they do it masterfully.
Jotty, that went like TikTok viral, Twitter viral, Instagram viral. I was like, oh my God, Jotty, like everyone was messaging her that knows her, just like, oh my God, like this is sick. Like it took over completely. She's gained loads of followers from me. Like it's insane. Like,
how do you think she had that moment though? Like what do you think? Obviously it went viral because it's so sick, but like, what do you think went through her head when she was like, yo, I'm about to, this whole dance is over. Everyone going home after this.
I don't even know when that boiler room was, but I think someone was obviously watching the boiler room, took a clip from it and was like, yo, this is sick. And then obviously that just spread like wildfire. So I don't think it was even her playing it to be like, yo, this is going to go viral. She just done like a very sick set. And I think it just like someone just picked it up and it just went mad. Like,
yeah. No, but I think obviously, I don't think when people go viral, the intention is to ever go viral. But I guess my question is more, how did she have, like, what do you think as a DJ to DJ, what do you think went through her head in that moment to be like, yo, this is going to go so well? Do you think it, like, is it chance or what is it down to?
You see her from her reaction in the video, she's like she's telling you like, yo, wait 1 minute, like you're gonna hit this drop and it's gonna be sick. She already knows people are gonna go off to it, whether that's already from reaction, because obviously you can have like a list of songs or matches that you've had together and think, oh, I've gone into the rave before and that's already been a sick match, I know people are gonna react to sick to that. So she's obviously, I don't know if she's played it before, but she melodically knows like, yo, 1 minute, like wait for the drop, this is gonna be mad, and then it just went off.
Have you ever had a moment where you thought, oh, this is gonna end the dance and it didn't? And have you had a moment vice versa where you thought, I don't know why that got people so gassed, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there was, do you know what? SBTV Summer Cookout, I think I played, was it Nines? And I mixed it with something else. And like, I don't know if you know, like Jamal Edwards, he does like SBTV Summer Cookout as like some event for the summer. It was so sick. And I remember playing, and it was years ago, and I was playing, and it was like not even the main room. There was like two rooms, the main room and that like the outdoor bit. And I was mixing, and like it wasn't packed out. And when I started mixing certain things, bro, the room just started like filling up. I had people tweeting after saying, yo, you got people from the main room to come to your room. Like people, like the hype and stuff of it was so sick. So yeah, I can't remember, it was like Nines and something else. I think it was Nines into like a Fredo tune. And then it went off. It was just so sick. And
yeah, I love that.
Like another time that what was the negative part?
Like, did you, well, not negative, but like you thought, this would go off, and it didn't necessarily have the impact you were looking for.
It didn't bang. Like,
yeah, basically
just look at you funny. Yeah, people just look at you a bit funny, like, yo.
Oh, do you know what? I did a booking, and it was, I think, by far my worst booking. And literally, it was more like, the thing is, you think you're getting booked for the name, so people book you because they know what you're playing. I got booked to play, and I had like 2 or 3 bashment tunes, and people were hyping to that. I didn't have any, like, it was a rave. You could tell from the crowd on what people reacted to. They wanted to listen to bashment or Afrobeats and stuff like that. I had 3 tunes, bro. I had 3 tunes. Like, that was it. So I played other stuff, and then people come up to me saying, yo, have you got this? Have you got this? Have you got this? And I was like, like, I've got to be here for like an hour, and I don't have bashment tunes. Do you know what I mean? And that just was a wake-up call for me as well. Like, I remember Gavin was saying to me, like, you need to spread to different genres. And if you're going to DJ to anyone and you're going to be a genre DJ, be prepared to have bare tunes from every genre. Because I was standing there the whole time, people staring at me. I was like, I want to go home. Like this, and this is literally, it was such, it was so bad. But it was a massive learning curve for me to be like, to have, do you know what I mean? So yeah, don't have 3 bashment tunes or Afrobeats tunes. Like, make sure you have
I bet you went home and you was doing your Googles hard.
I literally, I think I was just cringing at myself for like ages. Like, Alia, how did you even let that happen? And then like, afterwards.
Has streaming changed the game? Because I don't know. So would that still happen now? Because surely, is your Spotify just hooked up to your Serato, or do you still have to download all your songs?
Yeah, no, I don't use Serato. I just like obviously use USB, and then obviously I've been using Rekordbox, but I'm trying to perfect doing beat matching and stuff. But if you're in, like, a lot of people now do use Rekordbox, because when you're going to the club and like you're playing tunes, it's a lot quicker to be like, cool, move the tempo, and then you play the tunes together and stuff like that. But obviously if you want to do beat matching and stuff like that, then you can. I download tunes, so mainly from like iTunes and stuff like that, and then upload it onto like my USB kind of thing. Yeah, so if you actually look at my Spotify thing, like looking at it, like I don't actually massively invest into Spotify as much as I should. I think I've got like 300 tunes on there that I like, but it's a mix of everything. And I know some people are like, oh, I've got a folder of this, I've got a folder of this, I've got a folder. I need to be like that on Spotify, but I don't. It's more like on my laptop, really.
So how do you find new tunes? Like where's your go-to? Because obviously as a DJ, you kind of need to be ahead of their game. Because sometimes I'll be out and about and I'll hear someone drop something in a set, and I'm like, I wonder how this DJ came across this tune. Like, what's your process like?
Yeah, so I mean, I've taken obviously a break for it for a while because obviously with COVID and stuff like that, and just obviously wanting to get better anyway. But from what I was doing when I was like searching heavily, it was more so like SoundCloud at the time, because I like original tunes, but I like remixes. You know, when someone's done like a drop of something or flipped it completely, either she'll have like a classic tune, like a Alia tune, and she'll flip it with like a bashment, like instrumental in the background or something, like completely switch it up. So mainly like SoundCloud and people that are like, they want you to play their remixes and stuff like that. Or I mean, like, I think watching other people as well. So even like if I'm looking at like Tiffany Calver, she's on Radio 1 and stuff like that, and One Extra. Like you're like whatever she's playing in rap music, whether it's UK, America, or other countries, because she plays all over. That's hot stuff right now. That's stuff you should be listening to and playing and stuff like that. She exclusives and stuff like that. That's the stuff that's actually gonna like blow in like clubs and stuff like that. So it's like seeing what other radio presenters and like DJs are essentially playing, but mainly like SoundCloud and iTunes and stuff like that, and just having an ear to what people are like on Twitter, social media, like, yo, this tune bangs. They're obviously going to find out when we can go out again.
It's interesting because you don't even like, even as a DJ, you probably listen to completely different stuff that you be playing at times. So it must sometimes be jarring having to be like, I got to play this tune because I know it's going to go off. But in my mind, that's the last thing I want to listen to right now.
It's all what people want to like, you know, they want to play and stuff. I think it's Tiffany Calver. She has something like called No Request, and some DJs just hate it when you ask like, yo, can you play this tune? Can you play this? Because like you're coming to see that person. I get it, you're on a night out and you're like, yo, I want to listen to Drake. Can you play some Drake? Do you know what I mean? But then sometimes like you have to leave the DJ to do what they're doing because they're
sometimes you have to trust the DJ.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what? I like what you said. Sometimes you have to trust the DJ, because I remember one time in Agaloos, they were playing songs that weren't necessarily. I mean, if you read the room, the demographic, it just wasn't for us. For some strange reason, he played Temper T, and then it was just us four guys just bouncing up and down, just doing what we wanted to do. Everybody fled, like they fled away from the dance floor because they didn't know what was going on. No. But then after that moment, I think he realized that, yo, I've got a crowd, let me just entertain these guys. And then a bunch of people started coming after that. And then that was our club for like pretty much the whole entire week. But other than that, we still enjoyed. Has that ever happened to you where pretty much you've dispersed the crowd, but you've kept a group of people who still are entertained by your stuff? By your mixing, sorry.
I've never dispersed a crowd. That's actually never happened to me, where it's like,
actually, sorry about that. We dispersed the crowd. Let me not lie. He was doing his thing, innit? We dispersed the crowd.
Yo, I love
we dispersed the crowd. So yeah, to rephrase that question, yeah. Have you ever been in a position where pretty much you were DJing and you kept a group of people entertained, but that's what kept you going?
I don't think I've ever had a moment like that. Like I'm quite lucky at like a majority of events, barring like the Bashment one, I've been playing stuff that like people like, but I've never really had. The only two of instances, maybe. No, I don't really think so. I think the only two bookings I haven't really liked was that obviously the wireless one, because I wasn't like playing. I didn't have the stuff for the crowd essentially, because I said, I play a mix of everything, and then just obviously the Bashment one, the free tune Bashment one. That's I haven't really dispersed the crowd, not that I can think of. And had like the few that were just like, yo, we're here, like keep going. Like, I haven't actually had that, you know. It's either like the only two instances where it's just been like I've messed up, or like the other ones are pretty much like a lot of the events I've done, I've actually had a really good reaction. So
I think like it's so important a good DJ can really make a good night, because it was, Eman remember this, when we went to Hoxton for my birthday, maybe 2-3 years ago now, and when the DJ played KMT, it was different, man. Like when it came on, it was perfect timing in the night as well, because it needed to come on at that time. And you just feel like, yo, the DJ did me a favor. Like I didn't even have to tell him, but we had a link that day and he knew he needed to play KMT. And it was such a vibe. And it's just amazing how like music and stuff like that can just bring you all together. Does anyone have moments like that where they think, right, the DJ actually did their thing that night?
I feel like it's been so long. We've been inside for so long.
I remember those nights.
Forgot what it feels like.
For real.
Oh God.
Actually, I do have one, but the thing is, I don't know what happened afterwards. So this was in Norwich, and I was celebrating my boy Severin. Shout out to Severin, his family. And 6-7, they came and performed as well. And for some reason, Dougie was playing, like I was gone in the head. But Dougie was playing, I was with Monkey. And then fam, after Dougie, I don't remember what happened. All I know is I was on the couch, and then that's it.
He was on a wave.
That's all I remember. I remember Dougie, and then that's it. I was outside. After outside, I was in the car. After the car, I was on the couch. Then I woke up like 8 a.m. That's it. That's what I remember. But I remember that song in particular. That was my tune. So
that hangover must have been real.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Say less.
Of course, man, of course. But I've even been impressed with like they were playing like songs where it's almost like day parties, and then they play 21 Questions. Do you get what I'm saying? Like songs that they could just pull out of the noughties and then just bring it today and just say, yo, this is the song like you should be listening to. So everyone was singing to it, everyone was vibing to it. So yeah, I would say 21 Questions and Dougie. Those two songs definitely. But because I haven't been out so long,
I hear that.
I'll just see what happens. You know what I mean?
I think the ones I've had like specifically is Whipping Excursion, like with gigs. Anytime that was like going off in the rave, like literally, like you just hear the beginning drop of it, and it's just everyone just like.
Yeah, that song is iconic.
That's literally it's classic. That's classic tune.
Yeah, that is. Gigs has got a few of those that they're just shelling basically. It's playtime's done.
He's legend.
I love that. He is a legend. Give him his flowers while he's still here. All right, so I guess just before we move on, what are you excited most about when you are able to be in your element and start DJing again?
What am I most excited about? I think it's just seeing people's reactions. I think that's the thing I'm most excited. I think it's just like obviously this year and practically. Is it been a year? It's been a year, basically.
It's been a year,
It's been a year, basically. I'm in my head. I'm thinking it's been 2 years. It's that long.
It feels like
don't do that.
It's been so hard for everyone, and people have lost people. Like, emotions have been everywhere. Even me, like emotionally this year has been like a bloody roller coaster. But I think just going back and be able to see people being happy, like in that moment, just enjoying themselves, like hyping up to you, even like hyping with their friends, whatever else it means, just like people being together and just being happy, because I think that's something everyone's really missed this year, to be honest. Okay,
Alia, you need to do me a favor. When you're back DJing, the first song you have to play is Future Mask Off. That's what you need to do.
I put on my Instagram story. What did I put? I said Future's ahead of its time, because like when they play in the rave, this is gonna go mad. Like honestly, way ahead of its time. He's literally
when they find the cure, play that Mask Off.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited.
100%.
That's my favor. That's all I'm asking.
Because I know you guys talk about like tunes that'll go off in the summer. I think that's definitely, if that plays, everyone's gonna go mad. 100%.
He might have another. He might have a number one on his hands, man. For real.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Would not.
Yeah.
June 21st.
Hopefully, let's hope.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
All right. So on to, I guess, a bit more of a somber note. Second topic. I think it's important that we discuss it, and it's great that we have a female in the room when we're discussing it. So just want to start off by saying RIP to Sarah Everard, who lost her life. Condolences, obviously, to her family as well. It's a messed up situation. I don't think everyone saw the news and did not feel comfortable with that. The way the story played out, the fact, for me personally, I'm just going to say my opinion, the fact that she did everything that women are told to do that they shouldn't really have to do. If society was in a better place, she wore bright clothing. She was on the phone to her boyfriend on the way home. The route she took was well lit, so she didn't do anything. There's no blame that can fall at her feet. Not that she should be blamed, but she took the necessary precautions. The fact that it was a police officer who, more will come out, but it seems he's abused his power. And then on top of that, the fact that he'd done something 3 days earlier, was still allowed to carry his gun. It's just, the whole thing is insane, and it just goes back to the fact that we have to do better as a society. And again, similar to way last summer we was telling people of other ethnic or of other groups that when Black people are talking on certain issues, listen to them. I think, again, when it comes to this, at this moment in time, I think as men, we just need to listen to what the women have to say, especially on this topic, because it's been such an eye-opener. And it's like the things that women can't do and how uncomfortable they feel in certain situations. It's insane.
100%. Completely agree with you.
How's everyone else feel on the topic?
Yeah, man, it's been one of those weeks, isn't it? Like, even when they initially announced it, it's just, you always fear for the worst when you hear these type of situations, and then it's a police officer, and it's just terrible. And I think, just to echo your sentiment, Demi, like, I think men, like, we have to hold ourselves accountable for these actions, because it's us that are committing these like things against women. So ultimately, we have to look at ourselves, look at each other, even just to think the small things we do. Let's say, for example, even me, like, I would walk, obviously it's worse because I'm Black, but I'd walk towards like the off-license near where I live, and like there could be a woman in front of me. Now in my mind, I'm thinking there's nothing to it, but in her mind, she'll be intimidated. She might think
she's panicking.
It's not, it is what it is. So I think as men, you just gotta like think outside of your own shoes, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's just a terrible situation all around.
Yeah, it's crazy the things that we could just simply do to make them feel a bit more comfortable. Like, obviously, I live with two girls, and they're pretty good friends, so we've had some real conversations. And it's just the fact of, I kind of already knew this one, but if, say, you're walking behind a woman and just cross the road, like, it'll just make her feel more comfortable. It's a weight lifted off her shoulder. She's not saying completely divert your whole route, but like the little things that we can do, to make people feel more safe, and that's what we should do. And it's not, I don't want to say the cliche of, you know what, I've got a sister, it could have been her sort of thing, but I think a lot of men do look at it that way. I do have a sister. In fact, all three of us have sisters, so I look at it that way, and I'm like, yo, that could have been someone I really care about. So it's just taking the necessary precautions to make sure that everyone feels safe, as they should.
It's even bigger than that. Do you remember when we had Tolly on? She was like, the man them always think, oh, if it was your sister, if it was your mum, but it's deeper than that. If it's your friend, if it's your colleague, if it's someone that's you don't even know, do you know what I'm saying? It's bigger than looking at it from a personal point of view. Because I think in our minds, we only really get affected by things if it affects your immediate. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that.
Somebody could easily seen her across the street and not knowing who she is and be like, oh, okay, this looks dodgy. Let me just try to pretend I know her. And the whole situation's avoided. Do you know what I'm saying? So it has to be more than just a family.
It's like, scary, man. That's people's reality. You're so right. Because I've seen that like on TikTok and stuff. And literally girls are in situations where they can see, or people see people in situations where, like you said, looks dodgy. And then they come up to them and then they've been like, oh, is everything all right here? How are you? And then they remove the girl from that situation, and they find out the girl was like, she didn't know who he was, and is basically harassing her. So yeah, I think we can, if you see something happening, there's definitely room for us to all step in.
From a female's perspective, like it's so like this whole week I've felt like so numb. Like basically, when she first got announced as being missing, maybe a day or two after, obviously it was being posted on Twitter and stuff like that. So I was reposting on my Instagram and stuff like that. And I was just thinking, oh, it's a missing woman, she's going to get found and like stuff like that. And then obviously the news progressed that a police officer got arrested, and then human remains were being like found and stuff like that. And then people were already saying like RIP Sarah Everard and stuff like that, and I just felt so numb because in my head I was thinking, I was still being so hopeful. I was like, how can you people say she's dead? Like, stop it. Like, she's still like, there's still keep hope. And then obviously when they announced that was it yesterday, I think, that her remains, like, this whole week is just been so numbing, because alongside that, like a fellow woman's passed. She was wearing bright clothing. She was only just walking home, bro. Like, and even like when I spoke to my partner, I actually thanked him the other day, because I literally messaged him saying thank you, because every time I walk home, he always calls me and makes sure, like, I say, oh, it's cool, you just go do what you're doing. He says, no, I have to make sure you get home, like, safe. And obviously when you, like, I can come off the phone. I'd say thank you, because I never really deeped it at the time. And even like I was posting on Instagram, like when I was in uni, I used to have really bad insomnia and I had depression and stuff like that. Like 2-3 in the morning in East London, I'd go out for a walk, like literally Whitechapel, wherever. And looking back now, it was such a stupid mistake, because even when I speak to people about it now, they even say like that's so dumb, because the amount of like girls that get kidnapped and put into like, you know, sex gangs and stuff like that, and held against their will and stuff like that. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, as a woman, why can't I do that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just been so numbing, like seeing and hearing other people's experiences. I'm reading women's experiences that I know that I didn't know have been sexually assaulted in the workplace, when they're walking home, when, you know, domestic abuse by partners, whatever else it may be. And it's just such a numbing feeling to think like, I've had my own experiences, and to know that there's so many other women that are going through the same, and it's just not normalized, but it's as if like we've all gone through it, and like as if we have to deal with it, and like nothing's changed from it. And now we've lost Sarah Everard. Like, she was literally just walking home, and
it's insane.
It's the same thing with like my parents, because like most of the time it's like my little sister. I mean, now she's an adult, but at the same time I have to walk her to certain places. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, let's say we're going Grays, she'd be like, yeah, let's go to Grays. Be like, all right, whatever. Like, just to take care of her. I already know that something could possibly happen, but actually, no, I know for a fact nothing's gonna happen. Do you get what I'm saying? But something like that situation, where it's somebody random, where she's done all the right things, she's by herself, all of a sudden she gets taken, and then now we have to find out that a week later, you know, she's found in Kent. Do you know what I'm saying? And these sort of things, they shouldn't happen. They shouldn't be happening. But because my parents have pretty much installed in me, like, yo, always make sure your sister's protected. Make sure you go to the shop with her if she needs to go shop. Just make sure she's okay and stuff like that. Sometimes it's jarring, but it's necessary. So then for somebody like her, where she's just by herself, she's an adult. Do you know what I'm saying? She's in her 30s, where she's just like, nothing's gonna happen to me. Stuff like that. You know, it just happens, of course. I mean, it's happened, but it's things that shouldn't really be happening in our life today, especially. We have to understand that there's people out there like that. We have to take our precautions. We have to be careful, you know. But also on the men's side, I mean, we do have to have that in our conscience as well. Like, make sure that some people are doing things to make sure that other individuals feel safe. So, like, for example, walking behind a woman, do you know what I'm saying? Like, just walk to the side. Even like when I'm walking, like, let's say, for example, I was walking in the morning at one point, and the woman is walking her dog, but the thing is, she goes and walks on another route to come back on the same path. So I'm thinking to myself, why is she doing that? Mainly because she wanted to be safe. In my mind, I'm not thinking that. But now with these situations that are happening and they're occurring, we can learn from it. But it shouldn't be the situation. It shouldn't be a situation like this again that should happen. We should take every man should learn from this to make sure that women are safe in some way, shape, or form. And also at the same time, we should also make sure that our people are safe as well. So, for example, myself, make sure my sister's safe most times. So walk her to the next shop, come back with her, just have a conversation with her, whatever. With somebody like that, make sure that, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend, you're always walking to the shop together to make sure that you are careful. In times like that, 1 a.m., make sure you're walking with somebody at least, because if anything happens, there's two of you. See what I'm saying? But you know, it's very sad to hear that, you know, Sarah was one of the ones who was taken away, you know, from her family, her friends.
That is it, really.
See, because I've known you like such a long time, and I can, like, you guys are so blessed, and I know all of you have been brought up well and like respect women and everything like that. Not every man's like that. So it's having that conscious decision that, you know, I was even speaking to my dad the other day about, even on a cultural perspective, I was like, because obviously I'm from an Arab background, like, oh, Dad, why is it from people from our culture and community, like, it's so patriarchal and can't dress how we want and this, that. And he was like, we don't live in an ideal world that protects women. And even like with, if I dress a certain way, my dad doesn't think of a cultural like perspective if he thinks, oh no, you shouldn't be wearing that. He's thinking about my security and safety. And he said that to me before, like, it's all safe in saying like, oh, women can dress how they want, this, that. And I'll always preach women should be able to dress how they want. We don't live in an ideal world though. So I always preach that, but I always, no matter what I preach and what I say, I always put in to the side, as long as you're in a safe manner to do so, because like the situations that women can not put themselves in, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just we have to take that extra precaution to be careful when we're going out. Even when I'm walking, like, I don't even consciously realize that I do these things when I do it. When I'm walking home, I can look behind me. If I'm walking past like a group of people, I'm like trying to scan the people to think like, oh, what's their kind of demeanor? Like, do they like look a bit dodgy or anything like that? Or like, it's just constantly, and it's draining. It's draining, constantly having that precaution, like, oh, if I wear this, is a guy gonna do this, that? And I remember posting, literally like 2 days ago, I posted on Instagram because loads of people were talking about their experiences. So I thought, oh, let me say mine. And there's been a few instances, but one in particular, I was out with my friend and like we was in the smoking area, and I was with a guy and my best friend at the time, and she'd knocked the guy's drink over. And like this other guy, like some random guy's drink over, and this guy, I don't know if he was drunk, whatever, like big guy, come up to her and said, you're paying for my drink, you're effing this, that, you're paying for my drink. And she weren't backing herself. So I said, she's not paying for your drink. Like, you left it on the floor, she's not paying for your drink. This guy got him, I was saying it calmly as well. This guy got in my face, hurling abuse at me, spat in my face, and was saying like, oh, if we was outside, this would be a completely different situation. Like, basically saying he's gonna F me up. And I was shook after. Like, I was standing my ground, like, because I'm quite like a tough, fiery person anyway. I'm not going to let anyone make me back down. But then, like, as he walked off, I kind of like deflated a bit. And I was like, that situation could have gone completely differently. And then my friend and the guy friend didn't say a single thing. Even the guy friend.
That's crazy.
And obviously, when he walked off, he was like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was just standing there like,
you didn't back it. Like, you literally watched all that happen.
I was backing you. You didn't do nothing. And just the whole night, I just felt like I literally had a man spit in my face just because I said.
Yeah, that's insane.
You know what I mean? Like,
nah, for real.
It's insane. That was one of the worst instances. Or like, if I've gone out, someone's grabbed me, or like I've been followed or stuff like that. Like, it's literally. I don't think men, like some men, realize the extent of how bad it is. Maybe even all men don't realize, because some men that I'm seeing now, maybe even you guys, you might not have actually realized what women go through until maybe this week, like to the full extent, if you're reading people's experiences, maybe that you know of, that you haven't actually thought of, and maybe for raw, like I've known her for so long, I didn't even know that even happened to her. That's happened to women. And I think
it's a real eye-opening experience, I think, for everyone.
100%.
The thing is, that's sad. Like, I had to actually I'm deleting Twitter for good, because that thing is so toxic. The amount of like men that are saying like disgusting things that, like, not even people that I know, you know, if you like go under a thread and see things like whether it's to do with race, whether it's to do with gender, some of the things that people say, like, it's just so disgusting. And this was one of the weeks I just thought, it was like when it was to do with the migrants, Black Lives Matter, and then this, I just thought, I'm not doing it anymore, because
I completely agree.
It's just disgusting. It's just some people just don't.
I think what I've learned is just how like different our lives are, in the sense that, you know, there's things that I can do that, you know, that women just wouldn't even think about doing. Sometimes if you say it's late at night and you fall asleep on the train, like that's never been a concern or of mine. Like, it's not an issue, or I've just done it and I'm not bat an eyelid. But girls have been like, no, can't fall asleep on public transport because you just don't know what's going to happen. And when I heard that, I was like, that's something that I just do. Like, you know, I have no issues falling asleep on the train, but you can't do that.
I don't end up in Shrewsbury Nest, bro. What's going on there?
This is why I can't fall asleep
Nah,
on
take
the
risks. But can that be happening, man? Going somewhere and I'll end up at the end of the line. I said, nah, this is taking the piss.
That's a fact. One's quick note I do want to say, just even for the mandem, I think we need to be accountable and also be able to call out our own mandem. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it's uncomfortable because it's the people that you spend the most time with. But if you hear something, you see something, that's the place to start, in my opinion. Because there's always a saying, "Oh, fuck what my bro done, that's my jigger," or whatever. All those things that we say and we popularize, they're cool to say in rap, but I think it's also a very uncomfortable conversation. But sometimes you hear something your boy has said, and you're like, "Nah, that don't sound right." Do you know what I mean? And
it doesn't even have to be. Sorry to cut you short. It doesn't even have to be a conversation. It could just be like a few words, like "Yo,
yeah,"
and like you should have that understanding of like, yeah, like you know what, I crossed the line. You know what? Yeah, that's not what I should do. So I hear what you're saying, man. 100%.
It's something we got. It's something we got to make normal, because that's the best way we learn. Because it's unlikely you might do it for somebody random, but if it's your brethren, then there's more. You can have that open conversation. I know Demi would probably pull me to the side and like, "Yo, bro, you wild out there." Do you know what I mean? So that's something we definitely need to make more normal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just think having honest conversations with the mandem, because we're the problem. So I think putting all the onus on girls is just not right. So we know what's right and wrong deep down. So if we see something going, a conversation, or we see something going the way that it shouldn't be, I think it's for us to also be able to step in. But again, I've learned so much this week. So especially when we're all about to be able to go back outside and, people will be enjoying themselves, there's hope there. But I think, it's important to learn these lessons so that everyone can enjoy themselves as well. Because that was one of the things I was thinking about. Like, summer's about to come. Everyone has plans that they want to go out and they want to, but people shouldn't feel uncomfortable, because I live near where it happened, and the girls around here, it's different. Their mood is deflated, and naturally, as it would be, same way if it happened in Thurrock or something, you'd expect the girls around there to feel a bit uncomfortable and a bit weary. But I've just basically said, no, I've got your back. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it does matter, but we're all here to try and fix the situation. So we have to do what we can to make everyone feel comfortable. I think that's, if there's one lesson we can take from this, it should be that.
The thing that's like just jarring about everything that's been going on is like, even like, I don't want matters like this to just be a hype moment and disappear. Like, even like matter, I'd never want a situation and a topic and what people are experiencing to be a hype moment and people saying, yeah, this should stop, and then it gets forgotten about, because even like what we've seen with like George Floyd and stuff like that, like we've all marched, we've protested, we've like screamed, like, why can't we just have like people just be fair to all communities and races? Racism is still going on. We can still keep preaching to the higher heavens, protect women should be protected. Rapes are still going to happen, like people are still going to get kidnapped. And it just like, I want to be hopeful to say like one day all these nasty things, like from all sorts of things, are going to stop. But then at the same time, like even like what I was saying before, like we don't live in an ideal world. We can try and do to reduce it and change it, but there are so many wicked and evil people out there. It's just, I don't know if it's even virtually like possible to get it.
But I think when I think of stuff like that, I can't, because you will send yourself insane if you think you can fix the whole world. So I just think the most important thing to me, and it's not selfish, but I think it's what can I do? As long as I'm living the way that I preach and I'm taking the necessary steps, to make sure that I'm practicing what I'm preaching, then that's important. And I'm making sure my community as well does that. You can't fix everything, unfortunately. And that would, in an ideal world, we could, but we can't. So it's just about making sure you yourself are doing the right things, and then your community as well, your immediate community as well. At least that way, that you've had some impact.
I love that, literally. I feel like sometimes I get so empathetic with like the world, because even like on socials, even when I've worked with brands, I've always made it a key point. Like, I can grow my brand in socials, but I want to make people aware of what's going on in the world. That's always been one of my main things. And like, you can just become so aware of everything that's happening. Like, I watch documentaries, I'll read the news. Some people I know don't even like reading the news because they're like, oh, I just don't want the negative energy. But like, when you're so empathetic and you take in all of that energy and you just like, you want to be able to save the world. You become so helpless to try and like exactly what you said. You can't save the world. You can't. So like even to you guys, the fact that you guys have like sat back and like reevaluated like, oh, this is what I could do. This is what like maybe could help a woman feel more comfortable. Like even like little steps like that, like it means so much to us because it means there are men out there that actually care. And you know what? It's been sad because this week, like we've seen Sarah Everard pass and she's gone missing and women are speaking out. And then you see the hashtags like not all men. And it's just like, it's just exactly the same like all lives matter. Like no one.
That is exactly the same. Yeah, no.
No one is saying that. All lives do matter, but that's not the topic. That's not what we're talking about. Like not all men, but that's not what we're talking about. There is a lot of men that do it, and maybe it's not all men, but maybe it's not all men, but all women are experiencing it. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, so it's just...
I think when people, again, it goes back to what I said. When people are talking on topics that are important to them or that they care about, just listen, like take it in. It's not all men. You know that within yourselves. Like, don't be stupid. But right now, that's the topic. Let the women have the stage and let them speak their truth.
And believe us. That's one of the key things, because there's even like in instances in the music industry, there's women that I know that have faced certain things that are too afraid to speak out. Some things that I'm not ready to speak out on, because you like people would just won't believe you if you're not sitting there with mountains of proof that this happened, print screens, this that. There's so many, like maybe not so many, there's a portion of people that will say that didn't happen and maybe try and make people deflect and think, yeah, no, that didn't happen, when we have been suffering. Do you know what I mean? So it's obviously making women feel better. And if a woman tells you something, believe them, because the amount of proportion of women that don't even go to the police when it comes to rape cases, abuse cases, because the police either don't do anything or they don't believe them. It's sad. It's really sad. Sad.
I think we just have to do better as a society and take lessons when things like this happen. I think that's all we can do. Make sure your community is good. Like Colin said, make sure you're checking up on your mandem, and just making sure that we learn from this wholeheartedly. It'd be a shame for something like this to happen. And, you know, again, like you said, it shouldn't just be something that blows up. We should really take lessons from this and then go on to put it into practice. Yeah. So I guess just before we move on to the next topic, just again, condolences to Sarah Everard's family, RIP to her. And yeah, it's just, we have to learn going forward. Okay, so the next topic for today is, it kind of got spurred on because last week Eman said, I often call albums a classic way too early, or I've said a lot of albums are classics. So I just wanted to get people's opinions on what for them are classic albums.
Are you asking like album titles, like by artists, or just like specific ones?
Yeah, classic. Any basically. It can also be personal classics as well. It doesn't have to be an album that like everyone thinks is a classic, which is something I'm trying to differentiate from more now. Like, if I think it's a classic, doesn't mean the whole room thinks it's a classic. Obviously, there's albums like Illmatic that everyone thinks is a classic. You know,
there's like staples in it, and like staples in the genre. Like Boy in the Corner, everyone's gonna say that's a classic just because of that, what it is and stuff like that. But then there's personal ones as well, like you're saying.
When I was thinking, oh God, wow, what am I going to come up with? Because I know these men are going to say rap albums and stuff like that, this, that. And I'm thinking like, obviously there's universal classic stuff, but then there's obviously personal classic stuff. For me, one of them, because I literally come across the album again the other day and I was just sitting there listening and singing on my bed, like hyping, like, oh my God, I remember. Like Frank Ocean, Channel Orange, like that was just like...
Classic.
That's a classic.
I'm wearing an orange hoodie, which is actually mad. But yeah, it was just like, he's like literally insane, like melodically, everything. Like it was just like, classic album is something you listen back to and it just brings back so many memories, and you just think, that moment of like listening to it and taking it in, and it's just been a classic over time. But maybe it's really a classic for everyone, but I do know obviously a lot of people, you obviously probably have heard it and stuff like that, or might like it or whatever, but yeah, to some people that's like a classic album, I guess.
That is a classic.
There's too many, man.
I was stumped when I asked this. I thought, and I had to call someone. Let's think of some classic albums, because I'm like, my mind got spun. There's so many.
There is so many, but it's just a case of being able to just... You can discuss them, or just say like your personal favourites as well.
Personal favourites. I love My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye. I think that was like his peak of his powers. Good Kid, Mad City was amazing as well when that first came out. That was like quite close to Channel Orange as well, because so that time frame kind of was all condensed to me.
Yeah.
Drake as well. Drake's got a few, to be fair.
Yeah, I saw a debate on Twitter. So they were saying, "Take care, nothing was the same." And if you're reading this,
I'm not mad at that.
I think that's fair.
I'm not mad at it. I know people like favor one over the other. I know some people love Take Care more than the rest, which is fine.
I don't even know. Sometimes I think Take Care is good for sure, but I just think it's so long. I think his running time is down there an hour and a half. And I'm like, I'll never forget. We went to school with him, Harry Johnson, and probably had about 5 conversations with the kid. But he's a good kid. But he was talking about buying the Drake album. He was like, "I'm taking this back to HMV. It's too long." I was crying.
That's
true. I agreed, but I can't believe he was like, "Yeah, I'm returning this. The album's too long." At an hour and a half, I don't blame him, man, because that album is long. But
I think Chris Brown had the longest one. Didn't he have like 40 songs on an album?
Oh my god!
I didn't even listen to the album. But, oh my god, no, that's I think the longest album. That's probably.
He was taking the mic for that. I don't know what was the thought process behind that.
I don't know, man.
There was none. That's what it was.
It's so talented, but I think with stuff that's obviously happened in the past and like events and certain things, I don't think maybe he's appreciated talent-wise as much as what he should be. I know obviously what happened, maybe him and Rihanna, like not maybe, what did happen was obviously really bad, but I think that's just taken such a stint. I think it was just like, here's everything, take all of it, you know, this is like, this is like, and I think it was just a big, you know, listen to me kind of thing.
I think he's got a good album in Fame, but I don't know, whenever I think about that album, I always think, is that more because I was in year 11 and there's a lot of fun songs on there that I really enjoyed?
100%. Yeah, 100%. You're not listening to Year Times 3 right now, bro. You're definitely not listening to that tune right now.
What's the dance tune that he had that everyone loved? Live your life, live your life.
Oh my
Beautiful
God.
people. Beautiful people. It's a good song, to be honest with you.
It is a good song.
Nah, he had that time period on lock, man.
Yeah, 100.
I really like Jack Harlow. He's like, literally, he's hilarious.
He's too funny. He's definitely one of my...
He's so hilarious. He's so funny.
He's definitely one of my best fans that I found recently. And his album that just came out was pretty good, actually.
He's not bad.
Nah, he's not bad. The boy can spit. No, I'm not saying it's a classic. Chill. It's a good album, though. I want to know, can you remember albums that I've said that are classic that you looked at me funny?
No, the people of Mumbai and the people of New Delhi can go back on the episodes and listen to every single episode and find out. Shout out to the listeners. But I think my classic album is, well, this was my introduction to hip hop. This was Beg for Mercy by G Unit. Shout outs to Omar. Like, Omar brought me in. I was listening to it. I was like, what the hell was this? And it was the first track from like Young Buck. Like, he says, "Vacate your home, I come to break your bones." Like, and the thing is, I'm in a Christian household. I should not be listening to it. So the fact of the matter is, "Vacate your home, I come to break your bones." It's like, oh, this is something special. This is something nice. So definitely Beg for Mercy. And then also So Far Gone, man. I think that's a classic for everybody. Of course. That's definitely a classic for everybody, because especially the time when I went to Alabama, like, that was on a school trip. So that was the album I used to listen to like the whole entire time. But yeah, no, those two albums, definitely a classic. Definitely a classic, yeah.
For me, also Get Rich or Die Trying, man. That was a time in my life, man. I remember In the Club was just something special. Like, that was just, couldn't escape it. You
still can't escape it. It's still ringing off somewhere in the world right now. I don't know
100%, man. In the Club was a moment. And then, you know, the fact that you had so many good follow-up singles from that album, you know. I think 21 Questions is on there. It's just such a solid project. That was a moment for me. I think classic albums also, they create a space in your memory, and they're a moment for you as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I would even go as far as saying Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa was a classic album as well, especially because that was when grime was at its peak. But then more so, I think everybody was just talking about that album, and everybody loved the album at the same time. Do you get what I'm saying? And it just, that was what, 2014, I think, 2014, 15. So yeah, no, that album, it banged differently. Do you get what I'm saying? So
yeah, it was a special. Yeah, it was definitely a special
definitely
moment.
A classic for me.
See, I think Konnichiwa, and then I also think Blacklisted. Like before, like I think Blacklisted is just like.
I think Blacklisted is better on that. Blacklisted is such a.
Oh my god! Like it's literally, that is such a classic album. 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
But the reason why I definitely love Blacklisted, but the thing about Konnichiwa is that everybody knew what it was. It was the same. Everybody was on the same vibe. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas Blacklisted, I don't think a lot of people listened to Blacklisted at that time. Whereas Konnichiwa, everybody listened to it. So
yeah, I hear that. It was definitely a moment.
It was time before, basically. Yeah.
I agree. No, I think there's some definitely good suggestions. Has a classic been released? Collins, I see Made in Lagos.
It could be, but I thought about this album. I feel kind of sad because we should have been outside when this came out.
Yeah, he put crack in that album, man. It's different.
I still maintain Get's album will be classic when time goes by, for sure. And I think Kano's Hoodies, I can't remember the name of the full album when that came out. I think that's a sensational album as well. But then the Young Bucks as well, like Huss has a couple now, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
And Dave as well. Dave's album, you could argue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
You could argue it.
Dave fucking else. He's literally like
he's an alien, man. That kid's an alien.
For real. That's actually even
it's so cold.
Just intertwined, so sick, like
so cold.
So sick. Even the tune that they done together and the video, everything was just so cold. I had that tune repeat like for days when that came out. Whole album.
Yeah. His verses, he's different. It's nice to see that you know, because they have this conversation on Joe Budden podcast quite a bit, and they talk about rappers that are aliens and like they're not from this world. And it's nice to see. We probably always have, but we haven't had that discussion. But it's nice to see that, you know, we can identify in the UK. We've got people like that, like J Hus, straight alien. Like anything he touches it turns to gold. Dave, straight alien. I think Gets is an alien. You know, now that we're able to start
listening to Ambush.
Eman, you muted yourself, bro. Hello?
Someone called me, but you man listening to Ambush, like that album, like he's actually a crazy guy.
Not too much.
No, I'm not listening to Ambush too tough. You know, I'm
like Ambush from your picture, from your background.
But the album sounds like this was supposed to be like, even if you look at his documentary, like the one he released on YouTube, this was supposed to be the song, like the album for the summer, like legit. But I mean, yeah, like majority of the songs on this album just slap differently. But yeah, but if I was to say like, what do you mean by classic? What like everybody can fuck with in terms of like today?
Well, no, it's even like personal classics as well. Like for example, I think an example for me would be like, for me, What a Time to Be Alive is a personal classic. But I know that a lot of people have their opinions on that album, but I hold it very close to my heart. You know, so even conversations like that something that you might think is a great body of work, but other people might not be too tough on, or you know, it's not looked at in the same light. You know what I mean?
Even when I was thinking it, like mine, like one of them would be like Mary J. Blige. I think it's The Breakthrough. Like she like, cause I was trying to think of like stuff, and then I was like looking at albums, and I thought, oh my god, like even when I looked up that one and the songs that are in it, like it just brought back such a nostalgia for me. Like listening to it, and if songs play, like I know all the words to it. Like it just brings like, yeah, it's like a personal album. Like a lot of people are gonna say that wasn't a classic album to them, but to me personally, like growing up listening to that, yeah, that was like a classic album, like a personal classic.
No, I love that.
Love Mary.
I guess does anyone else have any other suggestions before we move on?
Emmanuel's
He's trying to get us to listen to us, my brother. Bro, I'm gonna listen to it after this.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out after as well.
I'm gonna take it in.
I mean, Griselda's doing a lot, but I think.
Oh my God! Don't! I
You know
had
what I
Griselda
mean?
in my head. Griselda, fam, they need to come to the UK. Honest, oh my God, they're so gully. Oh my
You
days.
into that rapidy rap?
Oh,
That rapidy rap?
Come on,
oh
B.
my God.
Even what's his name?
West Side Gun.
King to a God. Conway. That album it slaps differently. Even the
Cool.
deluxe, it just his lyrical techers is just something completely different.
And
Do you know what I'm
Freddie
saying?
Gibbs.
Oh, Gibbs is my guy, man.
Freddie
Gibbs is my
Gibbs,
guy.
yeah, no, Freddie Gibbs.
Bandana and what's the Alfredo? Those two albums, chef kiss.
Nah, Bandana is
Sensational.
something special, man.
Sensational.
Griselda, like when did they actually start popping off? Let's say in the last maybe 2 years, they've started getting a lot more.
Yeah, definitely.
Stuff.
Yeah.
They need to come to the UK when they do like a rave, a concert, whatever you want to call it. Like, but the thing is with Griselda as well, I feel like it's just a selective amount of people that might be listening to them because it's quite like old school kind of vibes with the like beats and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
they've got a huge their fan base is a lot bigger than I thought it'd be.
Yeah,
you would be surprised though, because even when
me
and Collins we went to the Pusha T one, we just saw like a completely different vibe. Like it wasn't specifically a demographic. It was everybody that was there that just fucked with Pusha T. They were there because they fucked with Pusha T. So with Griselda,
it'll be the same.
There's a bunch of people who fuck with Griselda.
That's a fact.
It's
Rap
mad.
album of the year.
Maybe not many people, not in a rude way to them, because I'm obsessed with them. I love that. Like, I can't wait to see them. But like, even when I was talking to someone else who feels exactly the same, they're like, yeah, their merch or their clothing, even their clothing brand sells out like that. Like,
yeah.
But like, they're like lyrically like disgusting. Like it's just art. Like you can't even put words to it. Like you listen, 100%. You catch a bar, and you're like, oh my days, like how the hell did that even play in your head? But like. Sometimes when I listen to the beats, I feel like, oh, is that something that people might be into? Because sometimes I feel like it's like an old school kind of vibe, but like a new school kind of vibe. And I didn't think that they'd have like such a massive fan base because it feels quite nostalgic, but new. But yeah, no, it's so sick to see that so many people here feel the same.
Yeah, they've tapped into something that a lot of people want. You know, I think there's a lot of young people that like them, but they're also respected with the old heads as well. So they are very much the perfect balance. It is very boom bap, but I think it's needed in the genre because you've got a lot of this melodic stuff going on, which I'm happy with. I'd probably lean more towards that, but there needs to be a balance. And I think Griselda definitely bring that balance, and they'll only get bigger because they're charting well. And I'm not going to say they need that single because they don't, and they probably don't want that single. Not. They're not making music for that.
I know Benny the Butcher made a song with Drake, but I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to put it out because I can see why he wouldn't want to because it's not what he's trying to do in a way.
Yeah, I hear that.
But yeah, you're right. You're definitely right, Demi.
All right. So, fourth topic. So I just wanted to get people's opinions. It might not be a long topic, but I just want to get some ideas. And we've got a DJ in the house, so I just wanted to get some people's ideas on songs that they think will slap this summer. What's going to get the party hot, Just a few suggestions.
I'm going to say Back Row G. Back Row G, I don't know if you've obviously heard some of his stuff, but he's got like some of the tunes that popped off this year. He hasn't even, look at the way Emmanuel's smiling. He hasn't even had a chance for it to pop off in a rave. Like everyone was hyping to it, like at home, like whatever. But he hasn't even, like, it's so annoying. He hasn't had that moment to even have it, like, performing and everyone hyped to it. I feel like when that plays, I'm really hoping for him that, like, people obviously just, like, hype back, like, oh, my God, we've had this moment. That needs to have its moment. He needs that, 100%.
Yeah, he's got some energy, boy. Flipping heck.
Real.
Why was Emmanuel smiling? What were you thinking?
Because I want to be in the center. Like,
it's that Tempest sort of energy, man.
Oh,
I'm glad there's an artist out there that's good.
It is 100%. 100%.
There's a lot of songs that I've just been like, damn, how have we not been able to hear this out yet? I think, Laugh Now, Cry Later, Drake and Little Dirk. I definitely want to hear that outside. I'm trying to think of some others.
I want to hear Essence by this guy out. WizKid. I want to hear that song. That was slap.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hear No Stress by him out actually.
Yeah, definitely.
When he says that thing about South London girls, I was like, you know what? Me and you, we got mutual understanding. Me and Wiz will talk later.
You're dumb.
You don't rate Chafford girls, is that what you're saying?
Come on, man.
Man, there's no one here. It's such a dead area.
That's why we left. That's why we S'd out.
No one here.
I don't know why we're still called Made in Chafford, bro.
I don't even talk to anyone here. Like, I literally don't talk to anyone here. You have to branch out. That's it.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
You have to.
That's why we left, boy.
You can't even go to like a bar. Where are you gonna go? Las Iguanas or something? Like, you can't even go anywhere.
I told them, put a club in Chafford. I've been telling Lakeside. That's all you man have to do.
You have one job.
But then again, I don't want to see everybody there. Like, I don't want it to be.
No, it's nice. I don't want that happening. I'm kind of jealous that people who have who come from a town where there's a club. It's really nice because sometimes you might just go there and you see people from school, and it's just nice, just to dap them up, say, yo, how you doing? How's the family? Keep it moving. It is nice to have that. And they missed it. They missed that opportunity.
Yeah, but then conversations don't end up keep it moving. It ends up like carry on talking about other stuff. You're like, oh, I need to go now. Like, it's just. Or you don't even say hi. I've walked past people from school down my road, and we're giving each other eye contact. Like, oh, we went to school together. Should we say hi? Should we not? And we just walk past.
That's awkward.
It's like, bro, I used to literally chill with you like in school. Like, what the hell? Like, and it's just a mutual. Like, okay, we've seen each other, but we're not gonna say hi. It's dead. I love Chafford. I love it, but I feel like it's just so dry.
I know exactly.
It's a small area. If you've got people, like, it's important to branch out, as you said as well. What else am I trying? I want
to hear Blue Woo out, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It depends where. It depends where I want to hear it out.
Yeah.
There's certain places I don't want to hear that song.
That's a fact.
It's quite hard to pinpoint. Go on.
I was going to say Heady One and Young T and Bugsy Princess Cuts. I'm trying to hear that out. A nice school party, give him a little two-step with an auntie, them
party,
vibes.
You're dumb.
A jollof rice in one hand.
Wow. It's quite hard to
pinpoint,
because even when you're looking back at tunes, I feel like they've just had a moment like during lockdown, and then it's kind of like not disappeared, but it's just like, you don't want it to be a tune that's been forgotten. I think that's what's so good about No Signal. Obviously, you guys must have heard of it. They kept like things, even if it was like new, whatever, just still being current. And I think that was just so neat because people were talking and continuously talking about it. But obviously, like where we haven't actually been able to go out, when you try and, I even called someone before. I was like, oh, like what are some tunes that we've heard? Like my mind just went blank, and then you just can't think because you haven't have that experience going out and be like, excited, enjoying that moment. Do you know what I mean? It's quite
I hear that. I think, do you know who I feel sorry for? Because I don't know if it will have the same impact it might have. Our homeboy that did the Dion remix, that was, funny enough, he said on No Signal, Billie Jean, like if he'd been able to go outside at some point and hear that, would have been insane. I still think it could go off, but I don't think it'll be able to have the impact it was going to, which is painful.
Wow. It won't. Sadly, but
it's one of those ones. But I keep saying, I was talking to Colin yesterday. I said, listen, if Fine Wine comes on in the party by Gets, listen, they're just gonna have to listen to it, man. They're just gonna. I don't care if they're like, oh, yeah, this is 5 minutes long. They're listening to all 5 minutes.
You're dumb, man.
Hold the DJ hostage. Play the whole thing, bro.
Let it rock.
For real.
I don't even know what song I'll probably want to listen to. I mean, because the thing is, the songs that I'm listening to right now is not for
going out.
That's same as me. I can't think of any that like collectively to be like, I want to hear this and everyone's gonna hype to. I can't massively, except Back Row G for me. That was literally one of the main ones. But then obviously if we saw a list of songs or played stuff, we'd be like, oh my God, yeah, obviously, of course. But like quite hard to actually pinpoint.
It is. I think it's just an interesting conversation to have because obviously I think the harder thing is a lot of the songs that we want to hear out, they've been on the shelf for a while now. So it's a case of you don't know how people are going to respond to it. So it's interesting to see. I just want to get everyone's opinions and see where we'd be at with it. But I think we've all listed some good songs that I think will still hopefully be able to go off.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so final topic for today. I'm sure everyone watched the interview. Meghan and Harry. Meghan came with a tea. Harry came with even
the whole
more
kettle.
The whole kettle.
Oh my
That's
day.
a very hot coffee pot, man. That's what they said. They came with it. It was insane. I didn't expect them to give. I thought it was going to be very cookie cutter. So I was shocked when they came with as much as they did.
100%.
God damn, royal family. They're trying to put them in a spliff, man.
Hey, speaking of spliffs, yeah. Before we get into it, I just wanna say, just for Piers, yeah. We're not smokers on this pod, but we got to smoke that Piers pack right now. We got to light it up.
He's been smoked. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
Got to smoke that Piers pack, bro.
I literally took a nap the day that happened, and I was like screaming for like days, like Piers, no, whatever you're doing, like it's nasty. Took a nap, woke up. Piers has now announced that he's left ITV. I was like, what the hell is going on? It was actually such a mad week. It's such a I think all the events that have been happening recently. It's just like one after the other. I think it's so much to take in. It's crazy.
It is a lot, actually. Yeah, no, for sure.
You know what's mad? The thing is with Piers, right? I respect him enough to give no filter opinion. So if it's something that's bugging him, he will make sure his voice is heard. Now with this situation, it's like, you know what? I'm hearing elements of the conversation of what he's saying. Don't disrespect my queen, blah, 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 this and that. I hear it, but I'm not understanding where this pain is coming from. Then it comes to the point where it's like, my man tried to bag this girl, failed. Then he said, you know what, babes, it's all right. Let me pay for your taxi to get yard. Nope.
It's an L.
Nah, that money, that £10, that £15 taxi. Yeah, let's just say it's the London taxi. That taxi took her, all the way to Harry. Now she has
I couldn't even imagine taking that sort. Oh man,
that's a violation. That's an L. That's a big
L.
She ghosted him as well.
That's something you have to hold for the rest of your life. That's family that you see on TV. That family could have been yours.
What, Archie could have been a son of Piers?
Fam, it's mad. That's all I can say.
Bro, he was married at the time.
That's what I don't get.
Oh, that just, it threw me. I was like, what?
Boy.
And he's talking about
He
like,
was
oh, I
heartbroken.
like her. It's like, bro, you have a wife at home. What?
A whole wife. Nah, he's different, man. But yeah, he's out of here. And good riddance, in my opinion. Again, it's like what they said. I think Amber Gill from Love Island put out a really good tweet, which I saw Collins retweeted. Freedom of speech is free, but you know, when the consequences come, you've got to be ready to take them. And you can't go on national TV and someone saying, you know, I felt suicidal, and then be like, I don't believe her. I don't believe anything that comes out of this woman's mouth. Because that's insane. You look mad. Now you don't have a job. P45 coming soon.
And then he tried to what he was saying. I think I saw another clip. He was saying like, oh, I'm not saying I don't believe in her, this, that, but I just don't believe in the fact that the royal family wouldn't protect her if she's talking about having suicidal thoughts. That's not what you said, bro. You literally said, I don't believe that she was suicidal, which is literally like disgusting. A pregnant, mixed race black woman, and you're turning around saying that you can't believe her when she's been in a racist institution, or we don't even know to the extent of what she's even experienced. We've only got an ounce of what she's actually gone through.
100%. 100%.
That's a fact.
The baby thing is something light. I know they got more in the chamber, you know. Like they're just sprinkling.
That was great.
They're sprinkling that. I know there's
even
more.
Crazy about that as well. Like I remember having a conversation with my older brother. Shout out to my older brother, but basically, ask my brother, get me. Anyways, so I remember having a conversation with my older brother years ago. This was in season 2 of
Suits.
Suits. Yeah, Suits. That's the one.
I love that.
And I told my brother, like, yeah, she's mixed race. She's like, what? Like, yeah, she's mixed race. So like the fact that my brother couldn't tell that she was mixed race, he thought she was white, because obviously she has a very lighter complexion compared to you know, the majority of mixed race people. So my brother thought she was white. Like that sort of questioning, like, yo, is the baby going to be a dark thing? It's like,
do they even know like genetics? Like, what did they think the baby was going to come out like?
They are very well-educated individuals. They did
that. I'm not buying that. What a dumb question. Prince Harry is white, and Meghan is very like they thought that the baby was gonna come out looking like me or something. They would have been devastated. Queen throwing up like, is this what you? Nah, man, it's sad that even someone had to say that. You know what I mean?
It's just like when that even got said, I just sat back and I was like, whoa. But I'm like Arab, like white, like I'm obviously not black. But then I was just thinking the amount of black women, black men, black kids that are gonna see that and see that was a discussion that was had. Like I can be shocked about it, but for like you guys in the black community and stuff, it's just a whole nother like level of like disgust. Obviously, it's disgusting.
Yeah, tell Lizzie it's on site.
Obviously it's on site, but it's just like. I can't believe we're in 2021 and we're still having this conversation. Like you're seeing like, I think it's Kaleshi and stuff, they're going on the news and speaking about topics, or there was one black woman went and spoke, I can't remember what her name is, but like the constant conversation that is had, like you have white presenters asking them questions and like the black counterparts who are answering them, just like, it kind of gets to a stage in the conversation where we're like, why do we have to keep like re-explaining this? Why do we have to explain to you that this is how we're feeling? If we're telling you this is a racial trope or this is racist, why do we have to keep explaining that this is racist? Because we are experiencing it. It might not be termed as like you are this or you are that, but the connotations that are coming from it has like a racial obviously tone to it. And it's just so wild that like, and annoying that the black community have to keep constantly explaining and educating. Like even like when Black Lives Matter happened, like I'm obviously like anti-racism anyway, but like I even took another step back and was just like re-educating myself. Why am I going to go to the black community and say teach me, tell me, when I can go and openly learn myself? But it goes to show, like even with the whole Meghan conversation, like we are so far away from like removing racism and removing like so many inequalities, because let's be real, as much as people here turn around and say that Britain isn't racist, Britain is racist. It is racist as hell. Like everyone experienced it in some way or another, barring the white community, but it's 100%. It's wild. That interview just threw me. I was like, wow. But is it surprising at the same time? Like, was you surprised? Really?
Absolutely not.
No, but you want to believe better, you know what I mean? Because it's just so old. But I guess you know what, that family has someone who's nearly 100 years old in it. I shouldn't be surprised at all.
Boy, do you know what that man has been on the past in history? Period. Colonization, bro. They've been on booting from the beginning of time.
That's a fact.
I watched the interview today. I didn't even watch the interview. It was a clip. You're probably going to see it on Twitter. And it's this like posh white guy speaking about how the royal family can't be racist because look at the black colonies that I think that they own or something like that. I was like, I can't believe you're turning around and saying,
you left them countries in tatters.
Does that make you racist? The jewels that are sitting on your head are coming from African lands. Do you know what I mean? The kind of bloodshed that has come from royalty and, you know, the British Empire is disgusting. Do you know what I mean? How the hell can you not think that? Oh my God, it's wild. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what's really mad? Yeah, it's just the thing of like, you see the Queen, yeah? The Queen right now, this is like when I go into my thinking bag, right? And I think to myself, the Queen is like she is the law. Do you know what I'm saying? She is above all in terms of the United Kingdom. The way they spilt tea, I just really I fear for Meghan Markle. Not so much Harry, but Meghan Markle, because it's like what you're doing is you're treading on dangerous waters. Yeah, you're treading on dangerous waters right now. And anything can happen to you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if the Queen demands something, that's it. Like, they would have to obey. Like, the government right now, they control a lot. Like, they're taking a lot of control from her. But at the end of the day, she is the one to say yes or say no. And she's giving them the power to do what they need to do in order for the UK to function as it's supposed to function. But if she feels like, nah, today is my day where I have to say something, that's it. And it's not even just the Queen. It's not just the Queen. It's Philip, it's Andrew, it's a bunch of people out there that can just wave a finger and get things done. So, you know, with stupid remarks like, oh yeah, how dark is the baby gonna be? Like, that's not a question of like, oh yeah, the baby's going to be a bit dark or this is that. That's just to put somebody in a very bad position. And then the fact of like her saying, you know, she's going around the globe, you know, as a princess, you know, to give women a voice, you know, to give them inspiration. As soon as she goes to the kingdom, she's being silenced. I think she's just not being respected at all. Do you know what I'm saying? So
it's just interesting. Like, they didn't even try and help her. You know, when she was saying she had to Google what the national anthem was, like things like that. Like that's the sort of thing. They just let her drown. Is how I feel. They didn't give her any support. Obviously,
the whole. Sorry to cut you off. You know the whole. What's it called? She mentioned something along the lines of. Archie can't be titled as a prince, and it's something that they had to go against royal tradition, which was that he should have been titled a prince because it was the grandmother's grandson. They automatically get called a prince and stuff like that, and he would be completely removed of that because of him being like part black, which is just insane. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. I don't know. But then at the same time, it was kind of like, it was weird because they protected the Queen so much. Like Harry, like, the grandmother, she hasn't done anything. And Meghan just spoke so highly of her. But then it's like, makes you turn around and think, how believable is it? Are you just saying it because you're protecting the Queen? Do you have to protect yourselves? And then they kept talking about like, there's a higher body in the whatever, Buckingham Palace, whatever you want to call it. I don't care about.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
I literally am anti-monarchy. But like, who is this higher being that's like above the Queen and makes this? I don't know if they make decisions above the Queen, but they always kept speaking about there's this higher body of people, and you just think like, who the hell is it, and how many people are there, and what are they saying?
Yeah,
that's terrifying.
I think it's just like, I'm going to make a full assumption that none of this is facts, but I think it's like what you see in the films, even in like just in certain societies as well. Like you have some individuals who are high in position, but they have individuals to guide them,
real power,
to they're proper. So I think the Queen she has her advisors. And I think the Queen has probably been in a position where it's just like, I need to conduct myself in a certain way, whether I believe in things or not. Because remember when she heard the news that Harry don't want to be prince no more, the way she was like screwing at every single photographer, slowed down the whip, looked at them, then skirt off. I mean, we've mentioned this last week, but even like, just to go back on that, I think the Queen may feel a completely different way in terms of how everybody else in the family may feel. Do you get what I'm saying? So the Queen, I think she's really for Harry because she knows what happened to Diana. And I think she obviously sees the consequences of that and seeing how Harry's going through this sort of situation. And I think she's really for Harry, but I think the rest of the family or certain family members are just not for it. And maybe even some of the advisors who have told her, listen, you're going to have to Google the thing. We ain't going to tell you. Like, we're not going to help you out. You see your son, I don't think he's going to get protection or anything like that. Like, certain things like that, I think the royal family in some areas are divided in the opinion of Meghan.
That's a fact. Bless her. Probably Googling the national anthem.
Assumption. So
it's hard because we're sitting here basing all of our opinions based on like one interview, and I'm not sitting here saying I don't believe anything. I am solely like, I'm for Meghan. Like, I feel so sorry that she's even had to go through this with like her family and stuff like that, and Harry obviously. But it's just like there's so much more that we still need to know as well.
100%.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Like, even the royal family just announced a statement to say that, oh yeah, we're not racist, like that, we're completely for Harry and thingy. And then I think it was it William was recently out in a school or something and had like a black woman in like an African like attire standing, and it was just I don't know, it's like a weird,
I didn't even know I get a coat, man.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know, it just really makes you question to think like,
my mum was screaming, yeah, we're not racist.
It's crazy, man.
I just saw that. I thought, what the hell are you doing? Like, literally. And I think, like, throughout the interview, I was kind of like, I really want to have this picture in my head, like how they was presenting the Queen to be like the nice grandmother. Like, I just like wanted to believe that, but you'll never know. You don't know what any of them are like. We'll never know. We'll never know. They don't have no protection. They have to be careful with what they're saying. Which is really wild, like to remove complete protection for like.
Yeah, that's
because they are still royals. It's such a weird decision to, do that. Man, how much would the royal family have to pay you for a photo op in full native clothing?
Sorry?
How much would the royal family have to pay you to get in native clothing for a photo op?
It depends what I'm doing in it.
Nah, it's just a picture. It's just a picture.
What? Just a picture, just to say hi and then go home, come back.
Yeah.
Remember, everyone's gonna see this royal family. Look at this guy.
Smile like this.
Yeah. So let's just say after all this has happened, you believe what you believe, but they've said we'll give you 100K if you come here full native clothing.
I don't think I want any monetary things. I just want to live tax-free, to be honest. Like I think that's the
said tax-free.
Yeah.
Listen, we're here to negotiate, my guy. We're here to negotiate, which means if I make a billy, then the billy's mine. Like I'm not paying nothing.
I just hit the belly. They're gonna have to give me 100K still.
I wanted to ask as well, how did you guys feel about watching the interview? Like what was like your like thoughts like initially?
I didn't watch it, but I you know what, I could read the room. You know what I mean? So I can't really give a comprehensive opinion, but I could just say I read the room, I saw a few clips, and it was like if she didn't speak out, if she didn't say anything, if she kept the act, she probably would have done herself.
Yeah, that's a fact.
She probably would have just, done herself, and it would have been a massive story. And then Harry would have to go out and say, yeah, this was the situation, boom, 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 boom. Prince William would have to say, we didn't know she was going through these certain things. So I think sometimes, there's a Bible verse where it says sometimes it's, it's time for them to speak, and sometimes for individuals to be quiet. And I think this was her time to speak. That's all I can say on it. 100%. And from the clips I had seen, I think she needed to speak to someone to tell them, like, this is what's going on, and to put a mirror in front of them. And I think that's what really was necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think for me personally, what I took away, because I watched the whole 2-hour thing. So first of all, I TV chased the bag because there was way too many adverts in it. Also disappointed she didn't make no mention of Walk in the Park when she was looking for the national anthem, but I digress. I think for me it was a case of, and we've all been there where we believe something or something's happened to us, and we've told people, or we've made it like known that this is happening to me, that I'm going mad, and they're not listening. So she had to do that. That's how I feel. Like for her, that was probably very therapeutic, because she's got people on her side now that will be like, even if they don't believe her or a certain demographic don't, there's enough people now that I feel like, she can feel that her voice has been heard. I think she had to do that, and I completely understand why she did it. And same for Harry. I think for Harry it was very therapeutic to be like, yeah, that was a situation we had to get out of, because, if your wife is telling you she's suicidal, you want to do everything you can. And, it was a very good look for Harry as well, because, he played the part of what a husband should do and what a spouse should do as well. Your wife should also do it, but he protected his wife when she was in a vulnerable moment and made a really difficult decision in saying, you know what, I love you. I'm going to leave this prestigious organization, and I'm going to basically, I don't want to say, I'm going to leave my family, essentially, because your mental health is that important to me. So that was what I took from it. It was a very interesting insight. But again, like you said, it's only small. We've only heard one side. Not that I care about what the other side have to say, but we've only heard a very small fraction. And I think as the years go by, more will come out on this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
what did you think?
I thought the same, bro. I think if you look at the situation, right, and if you line up all the facts, so if you line up what happened to Diana and the fact that, you know, it's a boy who has now been traumatized his whole life. If you look at the fact that it is the monarchy, they are based on the blood of our countries. You know what I'm saying? Nigeria has an independence because of this country and its whole like Commonwealth. And then if you pair that up with the fact that, you know, they don't want to spoil their bloodline and all these deep-rooted issues that happen within this country and the ignorance that comes along with it, I don't see how you can walk away from that story and not feel like she's telling the truth, personally. Like, I get why people might think she has a vendetta for whatever reason, but in my eyes, you know, the proof's in the pudding there, man.
Yeah, like, even to like speak about Piers Morgan, like I understand what he's saying. I don't necessarily have to agree with everything that he's saying. So, like, I understand what he's saying when he's talking about, like, you know, listen, you shouldn't really be going out and talking about the family like that. You know, you are discrediting the family. You're putting the family in a public space where they shouldn't be because they are the family. And I understand where he's coming from, but if we're talking about the mother of someone's kids, you know, the wife to somebody, I mean, even potentially like Harry is still, he's in a long list basically, because there is a line in terms of who will become king of England. He's still capable of becoming king of England. So you're potentially talking about the queen, the next queen of England. So it's like, I understand where he's coming from, but right now, certain things just need to be hashed out and spoken of properly.
Yeah, these man, they need to all just talk and sit down.
Mental health, and actually speaking of suicidal thoughts, it's like, yeah, man, I think that conversation needs to happen, because from those conversations, people will then tend to learn and they will move on and improve. And if you're obviously saying, listen, you're just chatting rubbish and garbage, then it's like you're almost removing that power of building yourself up again. So yeah, I understand where Piers is coming from. I just don't personally agree with it.
Okay, so I think that is all for today in terms of topics. Eman, I remember this week, you'll be happy to know. So before we close, people get in your suggestions for this week.
Music.
Or not suggestion, list off the songs you're listening to so that we can put them in the playlist. Alia, you're obviously welcome to join in as well. Interested to see what you choose. I'll start. Basically, shouts out to Central C. I've been really enjoying his music recently. His album Wild West came out yesterday. Good body of work. I think he's one of the people in drill who's trying a different thing. Listen to the beat on Loading. It's not the same as every other drill beat. So massive respect to him. But the song from the album for me was Done Deal. It's got a different kind of vibe to it. So yeah, no, that's my option for this week.
Cool. Mine is, I think it was, it's a song called Ask You. It's by a producer called Emil, I think. But the singer on there is called Aisha Rackwell. I might have butchered her last name. But yeah, the beat is called She's Got a Really Nice Voice. A couple nice songs on there as well. There's a feature from Nux and somebody else as well. But yeah, it's a really good song. I'll put it on there.
There is this one song. I didn't gravitate towards it in the very beginning, but since, of course, it's lockdown, no one's really doing too much. I've been listening to it, and it's Has It Come to This? You know, I'm trying to find out who was the artist. Has it come to this? Oh yeah, here it is. The Streets.
Yeah, my mind just
that song.
Seconds. Yeah.
That song right there.
Classic.
That's a classic. Right?
Yo, bring back The Streets, man. His song on FIFA 05.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I have like one song that I've been playing. My friend sent it to me, and it was like, it's really weird. Like you guys probably won't like it. It's like housey kind of stuff anyway. But it's something that was been playing on BBC. What's it called? Let me just find it. It was We've Lost Dancing, and it's by the Blessed Madonna and Fred again. And it's like, it's just to do like with lockdown. It's like a house song. But you know when they have like the whole like, this is house and speaking and stuff. It's some of the words that are saying in it is like, we've lost loved ones and like we can't be dancing again and stuff like that. It's just like I listened to it and I was like, right, kind of like it just made me think of like hopefully lockdown's over kind of thing. But yeah, I liked it when I heard it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is it that unts music?
Not I don't know, like it's I don't know, can you I don't know, just check it out and see. Probably won't like it, but yeah.
Nah, it's something different. We need that. Don't
I
worry.
listen to everything in it.
Nah, appreciate it. We love that. All right, so Alia, tell the people where they can find you online. Obviously, Twitter not at the moment, but I'm sure they'll be able to find you somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna come back to Twitter, but Instagram, Alia Loren, just like my name in full. It's the same everywhere, to be honest. It's just the same handle for everything. So yeah, if you type it, you'll find me there.
Perfect. All right, make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. The people in Mumbai, Delhi, we see. Why are you laughing?
Is this like people that are like listening to your content that you see?
So we've been able to see through reports that that's where a lot of them are. So yeah, we have to give a shout out, man.
Big up
Mumbai.
That's a fact. For real. Might have to come take a trip. See what they're saying. But again, episode 78 of the Made In Chafford podcast. Until next time, peace.
A bit.